Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I honestly don't know what Jimmy Butler's looking for in the NBA, man. I really don't. You got Miami, the city, Eric Spoelstra, arguably the best coach in the NBA. Bam Adebayo, one of the best defenders at the big man spot. Tyler Hero, an emerging star in the league next to you. You know, they just drafted Ware. You got Jaime. You got a lot going on there in Miami. It ain't a great team, but it's an improving team. It's a lot better than the teams you've been playing on. And he wants out. This morning, Christmas Day, Merry Christmas, everybody, it's been just released that Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. Even though there was rumors of him doing that, and he denied those rumors a couple weeks ago. I guess it's official now. I don't know. But I don't know where he's going. That's the thing. I don't think he's going to a better situation. I don't think with the idea that you're going to be traded, meaning that someone's going to have to match salary and make it make sense for the Miami Heat in order to execute the trade. Now the rumors of you being, disgruntled and wanting out are true. It decreases your value. Maybe that helps in some ways, but it also makes it less likely that the Miami Heat would be willing to pull a trigger on a deal that they don't like. So, yeah, I don't know where he's going. If I'm being honest with you guys, I think he probably should stay in Miami. I think he should. Because the places that it looks like he's going to are not better than Miami. He wanted to go to Golden State. Golden State doesn't have the package. Unless Miami just wants to take back crap for him. The Phoenix Suns, Bradley Beal is awful as it pertains to the contract. It is no trade clause on the Miami Heat. They should not welcome that into their situation. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It ain't worth it. To have the talent that Bradley provides, it's not worth it. You know, he's a good player, but he's an older guy. And although you are moving on from a guy like Jimmy Butler, you probably want a star back in return. If the star is going to be coming back as an injury-prone guy on a no-trade clause, that is not an asset you should welcome into your situation. And the team, Miami's made so many mistakes in that way, paying people they shouldn't have paid them, etc., what they shouldn't have paid them, etc. They should not welcome a no-trade clause Bradley Beal into their situation. It sounds like that would be what they're willing to do, and I think it's a terrible mistake. In other situations, like I thought Minnesota maybe makes sense. If they could get a Julius Randle swap, that might be something they'd be willing to do. For Miami, bringing back Julius Randle means that they have a player that can play some star ball and an expiring contract if they don't want to re-sign it. This can make them players in the free agency pool, for which Miami is a hell of a draw of a city. So I think they would be they would have a high chance of being able to sign who they want to sign in the offseason within that same dollar amount. So, you know, if you're going to move on from Jimmy and you want a star, that might be the best path to making sure you have one. It's being the free agent player next summer, or this upcoming offseason rather. So I don't know. I just think Jimmy Butler's in a weird spot. You could be going somewhere you don't want to go, or to a worse spot. San Antonio makes sense to me, but is San Antonio interested in Jimmy? Now they're going to move some of the pieces that they need to do that. I think pairing Jimmy up with Castle could be interesting, because a lot of people compare Castle to Jimmy Butler. So I think he could be a hell of a mentor for him and a hell of a defensive tandem in San Antonio. So I think that would be an upgrade, going to play with Wemby and Chris Paul and those guys. I don't know what the contracts would be to match. I haven't given any thought to that, but I would love to see Jimmy in San Antonio if I'm Jimmy. I don't think he put them on his list, but that looks like one of the better spots. So it's like, you know, Jimmy's making what, $34 million or something like that for the next several years. So you got to match those salaries, and in doing so, you sending him to a place that he hopes to be better than the Miami Heat team he's leaving. So it's like, how do you do that? Or is draft equity being sent back to Miami? I imagine so. Are teams willing to give up picks for Jimmy? I'd imagine they are, but which teams does he want to go to that have picks? Phoenix doesn't have picks. So, and if Miami's poorly assessing the return and they're willing to take back Bradley Beal, then he can land in Phoenix. But if Miami knows anything about, asset management, they're going to stay away from Bradley Beal's contract. So what are you bringing them? Nurkic? They don't need Nurkic. You know what I mean? A combination of Grayson Allen and Nurkic makes no sense for the Miami Heat. You could bring a third team in and maybe find another place for Nurkic to get some stuff moving around that way. So it's not impossible. but it doesn't look likely. And then with the collective bargaining agreement being so restrictive in terms of what teams can do what, and had taken back certain amounts of salary and all this type of stuff, it just becomes a situation where the trade is not easy. It's probably possible to make a move to send him to Phoenix, but Miami's really going to have to take back that Bradley Beal contract, which, I mean, it's a stupid decision. That's all I can say. I'm not saying that Miami's not prone to do stuff like this, because they have been rather reckless and poor in evaluating talent. That's probably one of the reasons why he wants to get the hell out of there. Jimmy does, but at the end of the day, I don't know that he's bound for a better situation, or not in a situation where he'll probably demand a trade from there next. Two, you know what I mean? And wish, he were back in greener pastures back in Miami. So there's only a few teams in this league that I think are legitimate candidates to win the NBA championship. Maybe Jimmy can expand that if he lands in the right spot. But if you're not going to Boston, you're not going to OKC, Memphis, Cleveland, those are the real contenders in the NBA today, in my opinion. If you're not going to one of those spots, you're probably not going to win anything. Memphis could be interesting, but I don't know that they need to bring Jimmy into their situation. They got plenty of talent at his position. You got guys emerging out of everywhere. You probably have to move some of those guys to make it make sense for Miami. I'm not breaking up what I got if I'm Memphis. I'm not. Not to bring in a Jimmy Butler, who's solid, but not going to make us so much better than we are right now, depending on what has to move out. If I'm OKC, no. Jimmy probably don't want to go there anyway, but no, I'm probably not doing that. So, the Lakers are always interesting. As a Laker fan, I'd love to move D'Lo Russell and Rui Hachimura for Jimmy. Maybe have to put a pick in there or something like that. That's something I want my team to do. Do I think Jimmy would be happy with the Lakers? No, I don't. I don't think he'd be happy here. So this is a lot of stuff that Jimmy has to really take into account. And I don't know that he's really surveying situations properly based on the rumors of the teams that he ultimately wanted to go to. The Houston Rockets could be interesting, but what is it that Miami's going to be taking back? That's the question I would have for the Rockets. If the Rockets want to make a move for Jimmy, they could probably do that with Fred VanVleet's contract. But does that make you that much better if you're the Rockets? Not really. Not that much better, no. Shaking some players around. Maybe you're not using some of your small forwards as much. I think the Rockets probably do have a good package to send back to the Miami Heat, but will the Rockets be willing to move on from some of the stuff that's worth taking back if you're the Heat? And of course, they can put Dylan Brooks in there and another contract of some sort, but why the hell would I do that if I'm the Heat? So the question I have for the Heat is, are you evaluating things properly, or are you about to take on something that isn't really good that maybe you think is very good? Because if the answer is the latter, then Jimmy could be going anywhere. He could really end up in one of those spots that he really wants to go to. It's basically the thought. Because a lot of the stuff that the teams that he wants to go to are offering you, I don't think are really good. Not great packages. So does Golden State want to add some picks to their player package movement of a Wiggins and whatever other salary they have to match? Maybe try to flip Schroeder real quick if it's possible back to Miami and maybe some picks. I don't know if that's something Golden State should be doing. I don't think so. Like I said, Phoenix doesn't have any picks at all. All the more reason why he, probably has the right idea going to the Phoenix Suns in theory, because they really do need to win now and over the next 3 years. They don't have a path to any future. They don't really have a path to tradable assets. So if I'm Phoenix, I would love to replace Bradley Beal with Jimmy Butler. That's like a dream come true. You love that Jimmy has you on his list, but I don't know if that's actually true, by the way. This is what I'm going off of based on the thing that he said wasn't true, which is that he gave a list to the Miami Heat about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So I don't know what's really going on there. But assuming that is what it is, since this turned out to be true that he does want out, I would only imagine that the list was probably real. So, these are the teams you wanted to go to. The Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns, the Houston Rockets. And I thought that we may have added another team to that situation. Don't remember exactly who the team was, but it seemed like he wants to move out west. Maybe something going on in his personal life makes him want to get the heck out of Miami. Because on the basketball floor, I don't think he's going to a better situation. Not to say that Miami has the best basketball situation in the league, because they don't. But based on how much he has to move in order to be replaced, I don't know that he's going to a better situation. And he's definitely not going to better coaching because, like I said, Spoelstra's probably the best coach in basketball, man. So, where are you going? And maybe that's what he's targeting, is great coaching. Because Steve Kerr is considered a great coach, even though I don't really believe in Steve Kerr like that. But the chips speak for themselves. Ime Udoka, we know, is a fantastic coach. He wants to go to the Rockets. Phoenix, Budenholzer's pretty good, won a championship in the last couple of years, so probably sees that as a positive thing. And, I don't know if Popovich is returning, I would like to think he is, but who knows with the circumstance of his health. So maybe he doesn't want to go to San Antonio unless he knows Popovich is there, but I do think he should probably be targeting San Antonio. That would be where I want to go if I'm Jimmy. Send me up there to play with Wemby and Castle, man. Let's get that done. And so that's really what it comes down to, man. I just don't think he has too many paths to a championship if that's what he's chasing. I don't know that he can get one in Miami, but I don't know that he's going to live better in anywhere else. I don't know if he's going to, have the role that he wants. I don't know if he's not going to be annoyed with some of the pieces he's going to be playing with wherever he goes. And sometimes the best place to be is where you're at. And I just think he might be making a big mistake, man. He might be making a big mistake. So being short-sighted as it pertains to who's a contender tends to be a mistake that I often see players make. This team is good right now. I want to go to them right now. But you're not projecting out to what they're going to be very soon, and you're still going to be there when it all crashes down to what it's not anymore. So sometimes you want to start targeting yourself to go to teams that are on the verge of being really good over the next several years rather than just looking at the teams that are hot right now and saying, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to play with him. You're going to be there for a couple of years because your contract's telling you that. So you might find yourself going to where you want to go. They're going to flip you somewhere that you definitely don't want to be because that's just what's in the best interest of their franchise at that time. So these are the type of things like you might want to start strategizing yourself a bit better players when you start asking out. Don't just look at the teams that look really good in the moment. Look at the standings and say, I want to go there, I want to go there. That doesn't always equate to ultimately you being happy when you get there. In fact, a lot of times it won't. So, yeah, man, I just think Jimmy's making decisions for himself, but trying to make a trade in this collective bargaining agreement out of Miami towards some of these teams that he's asking for doesn't look realistic to me. I think Dallas is also on his list as well. That doesn't look realistic to me. It doesn't. You know what I mean? Whatever image of that team he has in his mind, he's gonna disrupt that with the trade. And that's what some of these players are taking into account. You play with this guy, this guy. They have that guy on the bench, that guy on the bench. Not when they trade for you, they won't. Not unless they're giving up all types of picks to do it, for which is probably not in their best interest. So, we'll see how this Jimmy thing turns out. Maybe he'll come out with another statement saying all this is cap again. I know the NBA would love to make some type of trade because the NBA ratings are down and fans are upset about their moves not being made in various markets. And I think the NBA would love to force a trade upon some of these teams. Maybe that's what we're looking at here. Wouldn't rule it out. But whatever the case may be, if I'm Jimmy Butler, I'm probably staying in Miami for the rest of the season. This thing coming out of me because I don't see a team that I'm going to that's going to be a better place to live or a better playing situation with better coaching than the place I'm actually at. And when you have that three combination of all going on at the same time, you'd probably be wise to just stick around, buddy. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.